Does your furnace have a rattling noise? If so, more than likely, you need to do some work on your fan blower motor squirrel cage, which is located inside of the furnace. If your furnace has a rattle similar to this one, it's an indicator that you have an imbalance at the squirrel cage. Let's get started. Turn down your thermostat so it'll finish its cycle, and then turn the heat cooling switch off. Then remove the main furnace fuse or the breaker, turn it off at the power panel. There is one more switch you should turn off. It's down on your furnace. It's for the exhaust vent fan, taking all the gases up through your chimney. And then we can take these off the front. They just lift upwards and off. Might need two hands for this one. Just upwards and off it comes. Got a little safety switch in here also, so that if the door is off of it, the motor cannot come on. After a closer investigation, looks like there's a screw just right there, and that has to be taken off so that you can just slide this whole unit up the track. There's a screw there and a screw over here. Now remove the two retainer screws from the slides. Start pulling that sucker out. Okay, so I'm just grabbing it right there on the edges of each side of the squirrel cage. Actually, just, the housing of it. This is going to be pretty heavy coming off. Carefully pull the blower motor unit outwards, just enough so you can do an inspection inside of the housing, looking at the squirrel cage. Look at that squirrel cage nut, and there's a set screw up there. We're going to see if it's proper, because it's making a sound, a rattling noise, and it could just be the squirrel cage. We're going to have to move it out further. Maybe even drop it off of there. After looking in here, it could be it's just really dirty. And it's unbalanced on there. Not sure yet. We'll see what we can do. In this segment, I have the motor and squirrel cage housing out of the furnace, and I need to take the motor out, so you want to be sure you know what wires you're disconnecting and where they go. Be sure to take a picture of the wiring before you disconnect it. Okay, so the motor is now out of the housing, and I'm checking the motor shaft bearings. If the motor shaft has slight movement in and out, that's okay. If the motor shaft has movement side to side, that's bad. Your bearings are bad and you need to replace that motor. Just to be on the safe side, I did write down all the information about the motor in case I did need to replace it after I do this maintenance. Okay, well, I took it apart, and what I did was I cleaned the squirrel cage and the housing. Checked the motor, see if the shaft could move left and right. It did not. It can move in and out a little bit for the shaft motor, but that's normal. If it were to be moving left and right or side to side, then you probably got a bad bearing inside of the motor. So I checked that, and that seemed okay. Squirrel cage looked okay. The weights were still in there for balance. And I just cleaned off the squirrel cage real good, both sides of it. and the housing. It was filthy. We're going to just push this back together, turn it on, and take a listen, see if it sounds better. I think it's going to. I think it was just a very dirty squirrel cage. Alright, let's slide it back together. Be sure to reinstall your screws, your retaining screws, on the furnace housing slides. Alright. Be sure to turn on all of our power switches. Start right here. On our vent. Go turn on our main breaker. Then we'll go upstairs and turn on the thermostat. And then we'll take a listen. Alright, we fired it up. Blower motors are on. It's running very smooth. I don't hear that rattling noise anymore. Let's hear that difference before cleaning the squirrel cage. And now the sound after completion of our maintenance. So it was a dirty squirrel cage. Amazing. Alright, well, total cost to repair this problem, $0. That's the kind I like. Alright.